In this lesson, we're going to open a file and render it using the iRay renderer. From the Quick Access toolbar, click Open, navigate to the Chapter 6 subdirectory, and open the file Chapter 6 iRay01.max. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in this file. While iRay is a very high-quality renderer, there are some things you need to be familiar with if you're going to create scenes in order to be rendered with iRay. Material compatibility is the primary issue you're going to encounter when rendering scenes created in previous versions of 3ds Max. iRay is not 100% compatible with all of the 3ds Max material types. And as a good rule of thumb, keep your materials to either the Arch and Design material or one of the materials in the Autodesk material library. The same thing goes for certain maps. For example, iRay is not compatible with the composite map. However, iRay is compatible with substance textures and the other procedural textures available within 3ds Max. This is a basic scene. It consists of a daylight system for exterior lighting, and we're using two mental ray portal lights in front of the two large windows. There are also two lights located in the scene that are just there as effect lights and don't really contribute to the overall illumination of the scene. The current renderer is set to use mental ray for rendering the scene. From the main toolbar, click on the Render Setup button to open the Render Setup dialog. Go ahead and click on the Common tab in order to open the Common panel. In the Common panel, scroll to the Assign Renderers rollout. If it's not already open, go ahead and open it. We want to change the production renderer from mental ray to iRay. In the Assign Renderer rollout, click on the Production Render option. In the Choose Renderer dialog, click the iRay renderer and then click OK. The first thing you'll notice is that there is only one other tab now available in the Render Setup dialog. Click on the Renderer tab to expose the iRay Render Setup options. We're going to concentrate only on the iRay rollout. The only adjustment that needs to be made is the render duration per frame. There are three ways to adjust the amount of time you will allow for the frame to render. Keep in mind that this renderer is unlike the mental ray renderer. iRay renders a complete frame from the very beginning of the rendering, and over time fills in the rendering and continues to generate higher and higher quality images. The longer you let iRay render, the better quality image you'll end up with. Let's set the time to 2 minutes. That way we don't take very long to render this scene. If you want to later, you can let the frame render as long as you want in order to see a higher quality image. In the time option, change the minutes value to 2 and then press Enter. Make sure the view you're rendering is set to camera 1. Then click Render to render the frame. As the frame renders, you'll notice that it starts out very grainy and slowly begins to fill in with more detail and more subtle coloring. It's important to notice, however, that the final image is rendered in one instance, unlike mental ray, which must first calculate the global illumination before it renders the final image. After 2 minutes of rendering, you can see that we have a nice rendering and our environment looks pretty photorealistic. You can also notice that the image is still very grainy due to the fact that we only rendered this for 2 minutes. Again, the longer we let iRay render, the higher quality finished image we'll get. Go ahead and close the render frame window and close the Render Setup dialog. If you want to save this file incrementally, go ahead and save the file. Otherwise, press Ctrl+S on the keyboard to save the current working file.